All right, I think we're ready to get started here at 6 o'clock. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Carla Julian, and we're happy to have you with us this evening for our 14th Lyttonsville Woodside Area CAP meeting. We do want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded, and you will find the presentation along with that recording soon on the website purplelinemd.com. We are also informing all attendees tonight that the use of AI-powered tools, including transcription, summarization, or other similar features is prohibited by the Maryland Department of Transportation for all virtual meetings like our Microsoft Teams meeting tonight. Again, the presentation will be available to view on the Purple Line website as soon as possible after the meeting, along with all of the responses and any submitted questions for tonight. For those that would like a live translation, Microsoft Teams format can translate this evening's comment into a number of languages, including Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, and others. The instructions for seeing the live translations are being placed in the chat section of this meeting right now. We would like to ask everyone to please mute your microphones and keep your cameras off until the presentation ends and we move into the Q&A session. Our Prince George's County Community Outreach Specialist, Stephanie Villegas, will now relay this information to you in Spanish. Stephanie?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Thanks, Carla.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, well, with that, we will get tonight's meeting started. We're going to be looking at an introduction to the team, a project status video, construction updates, including work we've completed, progress photos, and upcoming work over the next 6 months. We'll take a look at community engagement, and then we'll move into the Q&A session. Next slide. You'll be hearing from the following team members tonight: Ray Biggs II, who's our Senior Project Director with MTA, John Undelan, who is Communications Director with PLTP, Hugo Fontieres, our Project Executive with MTS, Luis Rivera, who is the General Manager of PLTO, myself, and Scott Glass, who's our Construction Manager for this area, and Mike Edlin, who's also a Construction Manager. Next slide. The stations that we're going to be focused on tonight are the Lyttonsville and the 16th Street Woodside stations. And with that, I will introduce Ray Biggs, who will turn on our spring progress video.
Thank you, Carla. And thank you, everyone, again. Welcome tonight. We are glad that you are joining us for this evening for the CAP meeting. And we want to talk about a little bit about the momentum in 2024 on the Purple Line, which has now evolved into the transformation that you just saw in the photos shown before the meeting started. So hopefully you saw the pictures going back and forth and really can see the Purple Line taking shape. Tonight you will see, as Carla mentioned, our 2025 Spring Progress video, including footage highlighting some of the transformational progress across the 16-mile Purple Line alignment. So without further ado, Chris, let's play the video. Thank you. Overall, the project is more than 76% complete. Now let's take a look at some of the transformations across the alignment over the past year.
In Bethesda, we have gone from a rocky shaft to a concrete cavern, which will one day soon allow commuters easy access to the Metro's Red Line. In Chevy Chase, the Connecticut Avenue station is awash with color as the station continues to progress and have a transformative effect on the community around it. Over Rock Creek Park, there is a new Capitol Crescent Trail Bridge. This unique inverted truss bridge will be an iconic part of connecting the communities and the Rock Creek Trail system. The Lyttonsville Operations and Maintenance Facility and the Lyttonsville Station buildings can now be seen. The next transformation will be the installation of the many tracks in the yard.
Over in Silver Spring, the 16th Street station is now under construction. This makes all 21 stations now under construction.
The Silver Spring Transit Center is being transformed into an even more important connection point as crews construct stairs and elevator connections to the nearly complete Purple Line station. Crews have also completed the challenging structural work for the new mezzanine over the Metro and CSX tracks. Just outside of downtown Silver Spring, Wayne Avenue has more tracks, sidewalks, and curbs. Traffic has been moved onto the newly completed half of the Sligo Creek Bridge, and the trail access has been improved. Piney Branch Road has been totally transformed, with tracks embedded in the roadway and curbs and sidewalks along the entire length. University Boulevard has seen a tremendous transformation as crews complete over 95% of the curbs and sidewalks and have installed miles of tracks, including completing the most challenging crossings at Carroll Avenue, Riggs Road, and New Hampshire Avenue. At the UMD campus, tracks are installed across Adelphi Road, and most of the campus has catenary poles installed, and now prepares for system integration. Campus Drive, to the east of campus, now has the first pair of tracks installed, and drivers have been shifted to allow the final phases of restoration. Along River Road, stations, tracks, and even fencing have been installed. Kenilworth Avenue has also seen a major transformation as curbs, sidewalks, and driveways have been completed, allowing the track work to commence in the middle of the roadway. The flyover at Kenilworth Avenue and East-West Highway and the elevated station continue to impress. The access stairs and elevators are underway, and the station's clear windscreens are ready for riders. Along Riverdale Road, new street connections, ballast, and tracks can be seen making tremendous progress. Specialty crews have completed the beautiful stonework on the Baltimore-Washington Parkway bridges, and the Beacon Heights station is largely complete.
In case you didn't hear, we have started dynamic testing of our LRV light rails.
Along Veterans Highway, the new test track is powered up. An amazing milestone, as this area has been transformed into an active train line where the new light rail vehicles can be tested, operators can be trained, and the complex operation systems can be vetted. Tracks continue all the way to New Carrollton, as the east end of the alignment builds new connections to this important transportation hub.
Connecting metro stations and the communities across the alignment is one of the Purple Line's main goals. Soon you will see the state-of-the-art systems being installed across both counties, carrying the operational and communication systems for the LRV. Stay tuned for a lot more transformations coming very soon.
All right, so we have a lot happening on the Purple Lines. You just saw in the video, a lot of milestones that we have met. As you can see, they're reflected right here on the timeline. So thank you, Chris, for playing that video. Here, as you can see, the timeline graphic has those major milestones and some that are upcoming. As you can see in 2026 there with the complete track installation, including our winter 2027 revenue service availability date. Tonight, you will see and hear more details about the testing milestone achieved earlier this spring. With that, I will turn it over to Scott to walk us through the construction slides And thanks everyone, and I will see you back at the end of the presentation tonight. So over to you, Scott.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, for the construction update coming from the west to the east at the Rock Creek Park area, we've had recent work over the last 6 months. We've completed the erection of the Capitol Crescent Trail Bridge over Rock Creek and the Rock Creek Trail and placed the concrete deck on that bridge. We're continuing retaining walls between Jones Mill Road and the Rock Creek Bridge and the Rock Creek Trail connection. And we've completed the CCT, the Capitol Crescent Trail underpass ground improvements, which are just to the west of the picture there. Upcoming work will be completing the east stream embankment slope stabilization. We'll be completing the trail connection from the CCT to the Rock Creek Trail system. And we'll finish the pedestrian bridge finishes. Right now we have the deck placed. We'll be finishing the hand railing and the approaches. We'll be installing fencing along the entire alignment through this corridor and then complete the underpass just to the east, rather, of this Rock Creek crossing. Next slide, please. In the Lyttonsville yard area, the operations and maintenance facility is under construction, seen in the dead center of the photo next to the bridge here. Our recent work in this area has included completing a significant amount of the retaining walls in this area. We've continued the construction of the Montgomery County Operations and Maintenance Facility. The operations and maintenance facility building structural elements are now completed. You can see they have the roof on in the photo. In this area, we have all of the track drain, the ballast curb, and the fine grading now turned over for rail construction. We've begun all of the interior and facade work are currently in progress, and there's also a maintenance pit at this operation and maintenance facility that's in progress. Our upcoming work will be to remove, there's temporary stormwater management facility here that is going to be completely removed, and the area opened up for final track installation. We'll complete this train maintenance pit that's in this area, and we'll complete all of the subgrade for the tracks, complete the roofing and the exterior of the operation maintenance facility building, and we'll begin we'll continue all of the track installation through this rail yard. Next slide, please. In this same area along Brookville Road, we've had been performing in the last 6 months a Pepco power feeder up the roadway to this traction power substation that's shown in the photo here. We've completed the Montgomery County parking lot lighting, and we're just about getting ready to pave that parking lot expansion. Upcoming we've completed utility connections, as I mentioned, for this TPSS, and we'll be finalizing those and powering this up. And then there's a lot of fencing that's in progress now that we'll be completing with permanent gates in this area as well. Just to the east of the Lyttonsville Bridge is our Lyttonsville Station. Our work over the last 6 months has been a lot of effort to complete the CCT trail ramp connection. We've continued the construction of the elevator tower and the main access stair, and completed all of the underground work for the platform itself, the utilities included, and we've completed the platform foundations, walls, and the platform itself. The upcoming work at this station will involve completing the ramp for the CCT connection and these retaining walls and the fencing that goes on top of those, beginning the installation of the elevator and the exterior storefront that goes on this building facade. And we'll be installing the station canopy and the canopy glazing. There's actually a lot of other glazing that'll be installed this month on the access ramp area. Next slide, please. At Stewart Avenue, just a little bit further of our Lyttonsville Station, we have a road crossing that's in progress. We've completed the phase 1 the underground stormwater storage facility, which you can see in the background here. Looks like puzzle pieces of buried underground stormwater structure. We've completed a lot of duct bank work and roadway crossings in this area. We've continued track work from Stewart Avenue all the way east to Leonard Drive. The track has been installed. We've begun the maintenance of traffic on Stewart Avenue for the second phase of this crossing now. So upcoming over the next few months, we'll be completing the phase 2 of this stormwater, underground stormwater device, which is between the road, Stewart Avenue, and the portion that's been installed right now in the picture. We'll be completing the track crossing across Stewart Avenue to all the way up to Lyttonsville Station, and we'll complete the track installation across Stewart Avenue and remove the temporary lane closures at this point. Next slide. You see in this drawing right now, we're in the phase 2 of this lane closure on Stewart Avenue. From February to June, we'll be in this stage. We'll be detouring, pushing traffic to the east side of this roadway, and that will enable us to construct the new roadway embankment and track crossing and the track run all the way up to the Lyttonsville Station on the west side of that roadway. Occasionally, daily lane closures with flagging will be required for a limited scope of work, so there might be some occasional flagging work in this area too, but for the most part, will be two-way traffic. Next. We've also been doing a lot to progress the work on the Capitol Crescent Trail. Recently, we've done the clearing and grubbing and site preparations between Grace Church Road to 16th Street, really. And upcoming along that corridor, we have a lot of lighting, underground lighting conduit that's in progress and will be underway. And we'll be continuing a lot of retaining wall construction between Grace Church Road and 16th Street over the next several months, and really start to see that trail develop on that side of the alignment. Next slide. At Talbot Ave to Spring Street corridor, we've continued wall construction under the 16th Street abutment. We're nearly complete with that on the south side of that bridge. We've continued a significant supportive excavation operation for crash wall installation between the Purple Line tracks and the CSX tracks. We've started the construction of the 16th Street Woodside Station, which is just to the east of 16th Street in the very top of this picture with the light gray lines. Upcoming work will be completing the supportive excavation for this crash wall. SOE stands for supportive excavation. We'll be completing that in this area along this corridor between the Purple Line tracks and the CSX tracks. We'll begin to complete the remaining drainage installation for the Capitol Crescent Trail on the north side of the CSX tracks. We have a significant under rail crossing as a jack and bore operation to push through a 72-inch diameter storm drain crossing underneath the CSX and WMATA tracks that will be starting within the month here. And we'll continue the construction of the Woodside station to its completion. At the Spring Street Bridge, towards the east limit of this work zone, we have completed temporary utility relocations that were aerial. We've completed south abutment demolition and excavation. We've completed north pier foundations and substructure. We've continuing relocation of existing storm drain under Pier 1, which is the pier on the south side of the bridge. We've also completed the north pier itself, the structure of the pier. Upcoming work in this area will include completing the north abutment demolition and driven pile foundations, completing underground storm drain relocations and new alignments, completing the Pier 1 construction on the south side of the bridge, and erecting the structural steel over the railroad tracks this summer. Next. Through December of this year, we'll have a Spring Street detour that will remain the same as the detour that's been in place, that runs our traffic up 16th Street and around on Georgia Avenue, and then across Georgia Avenue down to Colesville Road as well. And with that, I'll hand it over to John Underland, who's going to walk through our systems and testing.
Thank you, Scott. Well, as the ticker tape on the slide indicates, and as alluded to by Ray earlier, we recently achieved a very exciting and significant milestone for the project. Purple Line light rail vehicles, LRVs for short, are now moving on a test track powered by an overhead catenary system. We call this dynamic testing of the LRVs. But a video can tell the story a whole lot better than I can, so let's check that out. All right, so what can you expect during testing? We previewed during the last round of CATs that we'd be doing this testing. We recently just started doing the in-motion testing of the LRVs, and I'm excited to share a few details about the testing we're doing. Currently, we're not crossing any public roads, sidewalks, as we're running the test runs along an enclosed 1-mile stretch of track adjacent to Veterans Parkway and our operations and maintenance facility, which is not far from the Purple Line's eastern terminus at North Carrollton in Prince George's County. Our test track is fenced, and we've taken appropriate safety precautions, including posting a large number of no trespassing and other safety signs. But just as a reminder, please do not go anywhere near the moving trains, and be aware that the overhead power lines are now live and carry quite a lot of electricity. We just want to make sure that we're educating the public on LRV safety as we get nearer to expanding our testing and ultimately to operating trains with passengers on board, hopefully including all of you in late 2027. And of course, next slide. And of course, this major milestone made a splash in the news, so you may have seen it there first. A lot of coverage. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Carla to give some more information about outreach in the community. Carla?
Thanks, John. As you guys know, we attend a lot of community events, and we're always open. If you guys want us to attend any that you're doing, just let us know. Here's some photos and some recent 2025 events. We were at Maryland Day. We did Sweep the Creek, hosted by Friends of Sligo Creek, and DC Transit Day. The team also presents to school PTSA meetings throughout the year. So as construction is progressing and we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel almost, please let us know if we can come out and support you or attend anything, and we would be happy to do that. You can visit purplelinemd.com to see the full events, and shoot an email to outreach@purplelinemd.com if you'd like for us to attend any events that we don't already. Next slide. Again, with safety being our number one focus, we do have a safety campaign as the rails are being installed and people are on scooters and bikes and you're just making your way around as a pedestrian. Please, if you are using a bicycle, approach the tracks perpendicularly where you can. Don't ride parallel, as you might get caught in those tracks, and just be very cautious if it's raining and slippery. And I see a lot of CAP members on tonight. As the meetings have progressed, MTA has held outreach listening sessions to get CAP member input in advance of this round of CAP meetings. Outreach and business engagement teams are distributing postcards across the alignment, promoting these series of meetings. So we really are trying to engage people in and get people to come and chat with us about any construction concerns or needs that you may have. And if you are interested in being a CAP member, you can also contact outreach@purplelinemd.com. And with that, I will let John talk about the Beyond the Rails grants.
Great, Carla. Thank you. We're always really excited to talk about our Beyond the Rails Community Grant Program, which we established to provide nonprofit groups with additional funding to continue improving our local community with a focus on education, the environment, and safety. Our most recent group of 8 awardees included Silver Spring United Methodist Church's food ministry, which they call Arlita's Pantry. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the good works performed by the church, which is just 3 blocks from our alignment. Just a bit to the east, we also awarded grants to the Silver Spring International Middle School for a program to improve students' health and wellness, and to the New York Hampshire Estates and Oakview Elementary's joint PTA for programs supporting their students in a variety of manners. Let me close by, so you see the details there on our program. I'd like just to close with an invitation to you, if you were involved with groups doing good works in our community, to apply for one of our grants. I just want to point out that the deadline for our next set of applications is exactly a month away, May 30th. Applying is as easy as filling out a simple 2-page online application. You just visit the resources drop down on Purple Line MD and just follow the directions. And if there's any questions about filling it out or our program in general, just shoot us an email at grants@purplelinepartners.com, and we'd be glad to answer. So now I'm going to hand it back to Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
All right, appreciate it, John. And thanks for talking about the Beyond the Rail Grants program, which is one of the important programs we have. Want to talk about business engagement. One of our goals is to keep businesses informed about any construction that may impact their daily operations. And to do this, we provide alerts through personal visits and distribute flyers printed in both English and Spanish, ensuring accessibility for all. So additionally, we are committed to promoting businesses located along the project alignment. We showcase these businesses on YouTube, feature them in newsletters, highlight them on social media, and install signage to help drive visibility and support for the businesses. These efforts are designed to minimize disruption and maximize awareness, ensuring businesses continue to thrive during construction. And if you have any questions or suggestions on how we can enhance our outreach, please feel free to share and to send your messages to us. I want to share an important update regarding the Maryland Department of Transportation's Purple Line Small Business Grant Program, which is a key initiative designed to support businesses impacted by construction. The Maryland Department of Transportation oversees the Purple Line Small Business Grant Program, which launched in February 2025 to support local businesses most affected by construction. In the first application phase, over 450 applications were submitted. Award decisions will be announced soon, so looking forward to that. And for more program details, eligibility requirements, and access to the grant application in multiple languages is available. You can visit our website at purplelinemd.com. You also can get information about the Beyond the Rail grant program. Additionally, the grant program will reopen in June, on June 2nd to be exact, and online applications will be due by June 27th, 2025 for the second phase for this year. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Carla, who will start to guide us through the questions and talk about how you can contact us.
Okay, so you can either put your questions into the chat, which is up here at the top. You can see the chat box up here, so you can type your questions into there, or you can raise your hand by hitting the hand raise, which is also on the top bar. And then we will move through those as you have questions and answer those tonight. All right, I'm going to see what we have in. I don't see anything in the chat box right now. So if anybody has questions, please raise your hand or put them in the chat and we'll get started. All right, I see our first hand up. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi,
Hi, this is Nene Abenobi. Oh,
No, go ahead. Go ahead, and we'll come to you next, Julie.
Who
Sorry.
do you want to speak?
ooh, which one?
You go ahead. Go ahead first, and then Julie will
No,
come
there's
to you.
two of us.
Well, there's
Okay.
now there's a lot of people. Mrs. Abanabi.
Okay, this is Nene. Okay,
Yes.
this is Nene Abanobi. Thank you for this presentation. I am in Park Sutton Condominiums, which I believe is near the Woodside. We got a little confused between Woodside and Lyttonsville. Is Woodside the station that's being built off 16th Street by Spring?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you for confirming. This whole time I thought it was a Lyttonsville station. So I learned something new tonight. But I contacted the Purple Line. There's 3 properties that are all near the Woodside station that's being built. And we're having a community meeting in June. So I wanted to see someone from the Purple Line. I had wrote to see someone could maybe come and represent and answer some of our community questions. Yeah. So what's the best way to make that happen?
Did you send that request into outreach@purplelinemd.com? I'm not sure where that came into.
I'd have to double check the email address, but you're saying that's the best.
Yeah, if you can make the request,
if
if you can make the request there, I think we can definitely work with you.
Okay, wonderful. My name's Nene Abanobi, so look out for my name.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Julie, you're up next.
Okay, hi. I live in North Woodside. I'm the CAT representative for North Woodside. And my questions are mainly about the traffic flow around your Lyttonsville station. And I've been in contact with the county about what the plan is for the intersection of the Lyttonsville Bridge and Lyttonsville Road. So not the Brookville and the other end. And they have said that you guys have a plan that involves like a crosswalk or something. And I think that intersection is more complicated. So that's one thing. And then secondly, what are the plans for managing traffic flow? As I understand, there's no parking, correct, for the Lyttonsville station. So how are cars volume going to be managed, and where do you think they're going to actually park? Because I do think some people will park.
Ray, I don't know if you want to take that one. I mean, there is no
Yes.
parking at Purple Line stations for sure.
So I can start with the second one, then I may ask Scott or someone to jump in on just the configuration of the crossings around the station. But the parking, as Carla mentioned, as part of the Purple Line, there's no parking associated with the build of the Purple Line. But we do have pedestrian access and bicycle access to be able to get to all of the stations. And if we can drop in the chat the link that goes directly to the landscape plans on the website, that'll give more of that view of like how all the crosswalks are laid out across the alignment and how it connects into the communities. But the parking piece, just wanted to reiterate, no parking is part of the Purple Line being built. So any parking around the stations and all of that would be worked with the Montgomery County and all of that.
So the landscape plan, if we have further questions about pedestrian safety at both ends of that bridge, who is the contact person?
You can always send in your, if we can go back one slide, Chris, if you have any questions, send them into here and the person will either respond by email or answer the call and get a response directly to you.
So just the
we'll
outreach
work with
email address, just the generic outreach?
Yes,
Okay,
that is correct. Or you can call us.
okay.
Ray, if you don't mind, if I chime in a little bit here too. Julie, I'm Christina Contreras. I'm with Montgomery County Department of
Right.
Transportation.
Yes, I know who you
And
are.
yeah, and it's nice to see you. But I just wanted to touch base with you that, you know, MCDOT is continuously looking at it as well. And as the project continues to progress, we'll keep monitoring both ends of Lyttonsville Bridge to see how the traffic patterns in those areas unfold once all the construction is completed.
Okay, so are you the contact person at the county end of this?
You can reach out to me and I can direct you over to our traffic engineering and operations section.
I already have lots of contacts at the traffic end, but
okay. So,
okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
I'm here to help you if you're not getting some answers. So I'm definitely here to help.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you. Back to you, Carla.
Hello.
Patricia, we'll go ahead and let you go. Go ahead, Pat.
Hi, Carla. I have to apologize. I was out making sure people are signed into this meeting tonight. That's why I'm late. Thank you for taking my question. You may have already hit on it. I see you're talking about the intersection at Lyttonsville Place and Lyttonsville Road. Someone told me that last week someone almost got hit. A pedestrian was trying to cross and they couldn't figure out how to do it. And you know how people think things are going to stop for them. And I don't think things did stop, but they did escape. But some stop signs need to be there, honestly. Something's going to happen because it's real busy. But that was my first one. And the second one is on the Talbot Avenue Bridge. As I've crossed that a couple of times at night, is there any way you could put a light on the 4th Street side that would be just a little bit more light at that intersection, because there's none there? And also the cement or the area there for a walkway or whatever is cracking up, on that bridge area. And a number of neighbors have noticed it, how cracked up the sidewalk is, and I think it's the street itself. I know I've noticed it when I came through there. Thank you.
All right, Chrissy, I don't know if you want to come on to help answer this one too.
Hi, Pat. Good to see you tonight. What is it? I'll check back with our traffic engineering and operations section with regard to any future lighting plans there at Talbot Avenue. I don't believe there are any that I'm aware of, but let me look into it and get back to you, Pat, if that's okay.
Thank you. And the sidewalk is cracking up, or there's a bunch of cracks up there.
Yes. I'll have the team take a look at that to see what things need to be remedied out there. I assume you're talking about the sidewalk going across the bridge on Talbot Avenue. So
yeah, just take a look at that area out there.
Will do. All right.
Okay.
That D, Carla.
Well, that will go to
Okay,
Roger.
I think I might be next.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
I just wanted to start. I've got a bunch of questions, but I'll do one at a time, basically. The first has to do with your construction schedule. I'm interested in your projections about when the project will open, when the construction will stop, the Spring Street Bridge and the Jones Mill underpass. When are those scheduled to be completed?
All right, I can start out and then Scott, I'll have you jump in. Chris, if we can go back to the timeline slide. May have missed it, but I went through the timeline slide fairly quickly because we've been holding to the milestones for a while. But the passenger revenue service is scheduled for winter of 2027. And as you can see here, the start of end-to-end testing is spring of 2027 that year. So that gives you a sense of when most of the construction will be done, because all of that has to be done before we can start the end-to-end system testing. And Scott, if you want to weigh in on the specifics around the other questions.
Yeah,
Spring Street Bridge and Jones Mill.
Sure. The Spring Street Bridge is particularly challenged. It's got a lot of variables that have made that not go as was planned. And the first that we encountered on that was really a challenge with the aerial lines that were not relocated where they needed to be temporarily in time for our demolition activity. So we had to revise the demolition activities that made that demolition of that bridge go a lot slower. And it's also a very challenged location because of the additional layers of review and scrutiny with the two railroads that occur with any change in whether it be the permanent design or the construction activities. So that has been a very difficult challenge to deal with there. That schedule on that bridge is going to be out of the ground very soon, within the next 2 months on these unforeseen challenges that we can't that we are surprised about and delay the progress. But that bridge right now we expect to open by the end of the year. And it'll be passable for vehicles by the end of the year. We expect to be erecting the main span. There's 3 spans, a very long span in the center, and that has large structural steel girders that'll be erected this June-July timeline. So you'll start to see a lot of more progress visible once that takes place with an actual bridge deck.
And then Jones Mill.
The other, Jones Mill, that has been there's been geotechnical challenges at this location with the temporary supportive excavation that we are using at that location. So it's been a very slow progress to advance down the excavation for the installation of the culvert bridge that gets installed in this phase 2 of that build. We are within 3 to 4 weeks of being done with that temporary supportive excavation, which is a sequence about a 4 to 5 foot vertical feet advancement that involves soil nails, which is a drilled tieback, and shotcrete concrete stabilization of the vertical face. That bridge right now, it will be used for access from Jones Mill for track installation by September timeline. The actual opening of that bridge is going to be late this year, early part of next year, the second phase of that bridge.
Okay, great. And then finally on this section, when will the Capitol Crescent Trail be opened up?
We are expecting to have a significant amount of the construction on the trail done progressively. We have a lot of connections to at various points, and a lot of places will be doing those connections in advance of the full alignment between connections. But end to end, there's a couple of critical locations that are much more complex, particularly at this Silver Spring metro area. There's a lot of structural work that still has to come together to finish the bridge crossing that's there, and also a series of retaining walls that is the very east limit of that trail, and kind of the section between 16th Street and Spring Street, actually really to Colesville Road. There's a few temporary supportive excavations that have to be coordinated with WMATA and CSX, because it has these temporary tiebacks that go underneath their rails. There's a lot of geotechnical investigations and evaluations that go along with that. So those 2 areas are going to be the last pieces that you'll see completed, but the whole trail itself will be completed in midsummer next year, 2026.
Thanks so much.
Anything else, Roger? Okay, I think you're good for now. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you're up next.
Hey, Michael DeLong from Silver Spring. Thanks for this presentation and looking forward to the Purple Line being finished. 2 questions. First, will you send around these slides afterwards to attendees? And second, forgive my ignorance, but how many of the light rail vehicles will there be, and what's like the schedule? Are they going to come every 15 minutes, every half hour, and which hours will they run?
Want me to take that, Carla?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. The presentation will be uploaded on the website and available as soon as possible once we're done with the meeting tonight. So we can definitely make sure you have the link to where that is. As far as the vehicles, we have 28 vehicles. Currently, we have 8 of them down at the operation and maintenance facility at Glen Ridge. You can see them moving in that video there. And they will operate during peak hours, 7.5-minute headways, and then off peak is 10 to 12.
Thank you.
Welcome. Back to you, Carla.
Okay, next we have Katie.
Hi, it's Katie Morganov, and I'm here with my husband, Eugene. We live in the Woodside Mews, which is part of North Woodside, and we're in that group of 3 neighborhoods that Nene mentioned at the beginning. So we're right up against the tracks, actually. And our main, I guess, question that is just kind of recurring has been about noise or potential for noise. So we're not sure what the transportation safety rules are, but we're a little concerned that as the construction progresses and as these stations are completed, that the CSX tracks or the CSX trains are going to start sounding their horns, which I think they do 6 times when they approach a crossing. And then the other part of this is we're concerned about any horns or any bells or anything like that that might come from the Purple Line vehicles themselves. So kind of 2 sources of potential noise that we're concerned about. Wondering if you have any insight or any idea about that.
All right. I can try and I can't answer anything regarding the CSX horns and all of that, but on the Purple Line piece, the LRVs, I would say the light rail vehicles are really quiet and running and all of that. So I want to assure you that hope you could get that from the video. And I don't know if we have Roland on the safety side that would be able to jump in to talk about more specifically regarding the safety pieces around the horn policy. But if not, the horn, the determination around the horn and bell policy is being worked through with Purple Line transit operators of how often and when it needs to be done. But I would say it will not be something that you hear all the time in the backyard.
You know, I can offer something on the CSX portion. I think what you are going to find is that there is you've watched it in your backyard, that there's a wall that is built along the entire corridor through this area, separating the Purple Line from CSX for safety reasons. It's a crash prevention wall, so either train, if derailed, couldn't interfere with the other. And that wall is probably going to actually help the noise that has, you know, historically emanated from CSX rail line. It'll just deflect it a little bit more. But the wall isn't built yet. It's under construction now.
Thank you. I think we're actually above the wall, at least it seems that way. We're kind of at the level of the Talbot Avenue Bridge. So I'm not sure if that would actually help. But I guess as a follow-up, has any thought been given to establishing a quiet corridor like they've done in another part of downtown Silver Spring?
I would say all of that is being looked at as we work with Purple Line transit operators as they determine what that policy will be.
Okay, thank you. And if there's anybody we should reach out to, we're happy to do that to just kind of get that conversation going.
Appreciate it.
Okay, bear with us. I see a lot of people have their hands up. I'm just going to move down in the order that they were received. So next we have Webb Smedley.
Yeah, hi. I have a follow-up about, I guess for Scott, about the Spring Street Bridge. So very happy to hear that we will be seeing some steel in July, but there's a lot to happen before that. So can you sort of talk through what the schedule is? I mean, there's still the old piers in the middle that have to be demolished. Is there a window when you're allowed to do that, or I mean, they look
Sure.
quite Romanesque at this point.
It speaks it speaks to one of the challenges with the nighttime work when we are doing anything with the cranes, both at Spring Street Bridge and at Silver Spring Station, Metro Station. The WMATA Metro, we only have about an hour and a half of time that you can use cranes that have the potential to, if the boom collapses, fall into WMATA Metro's tracks. CSX, we can have a larger window to work over there or adjacent to their tracks, but it is requires them to have a CSX representative flagger there at all times. And they have schedules that run trains through, so we have to stop operations when their trains run through. So these factors limit operational times and progress, productivity for those erections. The demo question, those remaining piers, that columns that are there were work that there was not enough time to complete during the last summer's outage that we had for the Red Line with WMATA, and the decision was made to remove those when we erect the week before we erect the steel bridge, so that those remaining 2 columns will be 3 will be removed the week that in advance of the steel erection, which should be in June or July this month. And then I mentioned coming out of the ground. There's 2 main piers that are adjacent that sit on each side of the rail corridor. Those one is completed. The other that the steel girders rest on is within 2 weeks of finishing the pile foundations. They're not driven pile, but drilled pile. And you'll start to see that come out of the ground with concrete over the month of May and June. So that really allows us to maintain a better schedule for as we get out of the ground, and there's limitation to surprises. We are also going to be double shifting this work as we come out of the ground and can advance without surprises. So you'll see later shifts, 2 shifts working on the bridge itself, both as we erect steel will happen at night. That will be a nighttime operation, but the work that is involved to build the bridge deck, you'll see day and night shift operations. There's driven pile at the abutments, so that's a 3-span bridge, as I mentioned. Yes. The shorter spans, there's some pretty short spans that are the approaches to that main span. Those will be trailing to the main span construction itself, because there's a sequence of the driven pile. There's drainage that is just finishing up on one abutment that'll enable driven pile to mobilize, and then of course once driven pile are in place, which should be by the end of June, there'll be abutments placed on top of those driven pile, and then there's a mechanically stabilized earth wall that wraps around each abutment that'll come up underneath those abutments. So by late summer, September timeline, we'll see the precast short spans erected, and through between September and December, the full bridge poured out and the approaches as well.
So so for the steel for the main span, there's nothing else other than finishing that. I call it the west abutment. I guess you call it the south. I'm sorry, the south pier, and demolishing the other pier. I mean, those are the
pier. Yeah. So that pier, right? That's not the abutment. That's a pier. So that is what. Yeah, that's what leads to enable us to erect the steel.
Okay. And just one other general question. I'm not sure maybe this is for Ray, but the graffiti artists are at work. I mean, haven't finished the walls, but they're finding their canvases around our neighborhood. Are you trying to keep after that? There's some graffiti on the Colesville Road overpass that's been there for a couple of years, but I'm talking about the walls, like the crash wall has some, and the piers now, or the pier on the north side or the east side has some graffiti on it now as well. Are you doing anything to remove it or to try and chase after whoever's doing it, or?
Yeah, it's we have a lot of security cameras up across the job site. It's very difficult to use that to identify and capture assailants, but it's a deterrent as far as keeping up with removal. And there is on all of the vertical surfaces, particularly the walls, there is anti-graffiti coatings for the first 10 feet vertically, and as some of the areas were vandalized before that coating was applied, before the wall was completed. And so those areas, the paint will be, the graffiti will be removed, and then the anti-graffiti coating installed. So that will help defer that kind of vandalism in the future.
So one last question on the Woodside trail section. I thought they were mobilizing for the stormwater on along the trail alignment between 16th and Spring Street like over a year ago, and then a bunch of piping got stored and hasn't been put in place yet. Are we likely to see that? And there's also a lot of walls associated with the trail, along the Woodside perimeter, noise drive, noise lane, and that area, or actually the highest walls or Springwood Drive. That's going to be pretty significant construction for the neighbors. So I just wondered when that's going to happen.
It is all beginning now. We've had a lot of those materials been finalized in fabrication. They're mechanically stabilized earth retaining walls, so they're precast concrete panels. They're becoming available, and the clearing and grubbing, a lot of the clearing and grubbing is done on that side of the north side of those tracks in the corridor, and so you'll start to see those. They've started in certain areas building up the embankments for those retaining walls. There's been some design change with stormwater management facilities that take a very long time to get finalized, which has kind of stalled the progress on that up until recently.
I see. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Joel Titelbaum, we're coming to you next, but I have one more in chat before you, and then you will be next. All right, Hillary, I think you had a question, and I think we have the answer to this. Is the parking lot that is shown adjacent to the Lyttonsville station for the use of Purple Line staff, drivers, maintenance? It was shown on the landscaping side. That is correct. That is correct. That is going to be used for the Lyttonsville OMF workers. All right, and now we will go to you, Joel. Please ask your questions.
Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Joel Titelbaum first, and then you, and then next Joel Ryerson.
Okay. My last name is Titelbaum, but I don't care how you pronounce it. I live in the Rosemary Hills, Lyttonsville area, right near the Talbot Avenue Bridge. And I have three specific questions about issues with the bridge and the trail as it approaches the bridge, and the tracks going under the bridge. Number one, on the deck of the Talbot Avenue Bridge, many people who live here and use the bridge, walking or driving, have seen the sidewalk, the wide sidewalk on the north side of the bridge, if you will, going away from Silver Spring, rapidly deteriorating with big cracks, and the concrete is falling apart. Are you aware of that?
It was brought up. Yeah, it was brought up this meeting here, and it's something that we are going to take a close look at and see if there's what the cause of that is.
Okay. And you may have to, it looks to me like you're going to have to replace it with a much better concrete sidewalk. Next point is that the trail portion along Talbot Avenue, it's only 1 block long, it's blacktop, has bollards all along it to separate it from the street portion. Those bollards have been hit by car or more than one car and destroyed over the last 6 months, several of them. And I haven't seen any of them replaced. In fact, the ones that were destroyed, a couple of them are still lying around on the ground there. I'm wondering if that's going to be remedied.
Oh. We can certainly look at it immediately, and that's something that should be replaced as as soon as
immediately you're going to look at both the blacktop trail bollards and the deck on the on top of the bridge with the sidewalk, right?
Yes.
Third point, this is just my uneducated eye and many others, was we look down from the bridge or look from Talbot Avenue and the ramp, we see that the tracks that have recently been laid, both directions, are wobbly. That is, they wiggle left to right and up and down. And I'm assuming you're going to correct that before a train tries to go over it. But I wonder if that's something that you're aware of, and if your track construction crew is going to correct it before anything else happens.
Yes, that's a good observation. It's a good question, and it's probably an observation a lot of people notice. It's part of it's not completed work. When there's still a final stage of filling these tracks with ballast stone, and the contractor does that when there's a very long length of track, because as part of that, they what we call profile the track with some sophisticated rail equipment. That equipment's being used on the east end of the project right now. And so in the meantime, it also there's follow-on work that works off of the high rail trucks, like the installation of the catenary poles and some of the overhead line work or the catenary overhead line work. Those high rail equipment run on these rails that are not finalized, final profiled for the train. So what you're seeing is just a intermediate stage of the rail installation.
Thank you. That's a very good answer, and I feel better about potentially riding on the purple line. So my 3 points are that there are what looks like incomplete or defective elements at and around the Talbot Avenue Bridge. And some of them should have been done right the first time, and others should be fixed promptly to keep everybody safe. It doesn't look good, but even worse than that, it looks like mistakes were made on the bridge deck, sidewalk, and on the trail. I know it's specific, but we live here, we notice it, we're concerned about it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Joel. All right, let's go back to Roger, and then we will go back to Joel Ryerson.
Thanks, Carla. A couple quick things, I think. Ray, I'd like it if you could include the Stewart Avenue intersection on your assessment of noise with the horns and bells. We've been asking about this for a while now, so.
Okay, okay, we will include it on the assessment that the Purple Line does. So.
Great, thanks so much. Can you guys give us a update on the art and transit projects, the installations for the Lyttonsville station?
Yes, let me pull that up real quick, and I will give you that update.
Okay, I'll tell you what, as long as you're looking at that, one last thing here. The stormwater facility off of off of Stewart Avenue, it looks like it's getting close to being done. And I noticed that there was about 40 feet between Stewart Avenue and the beginning of that honeycomb construction. I wonder if trees could be planted in that area to sort of soften the look at the construction, maybe some of the sound from that corner. That would be an area between Stewart Avenue and the stormwater facility itself.
So the answer to that one is trees are not planned for the edges of the cisterns. It looks like they're going to have turf and some revegetation that are planned for that area. The tree roots could potentially cause issues in the future. So that's why the decision not to plant trees there was made.
Yeah, I suspect that you could find trees that aren't going to shoot out roots for 30 feet. Just a thought. But you were going to say something about the art and transit.
Yeah, actually, I'll let Chris Stokes answer that.
You're talking about the Lyttonsville station artists?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they're both, the art for the station is underway. So we have two artists at that station, and David Hess's art is the large steel structures which are mounted. They're being fabricated now, and Curtis Woody is working on his designs for the panels that we placed on the MSC wall. They're both underway.
Do you know when they might be installed?
Probably not until maybe late fall of this year. We'll probably start seeing some art installed over there.
Okay, and then just one last request. The construction yard just off of Michigan Avenue, which will be turned into a park. As I walk by that area, it looks like you're starting to empty it out of materials. Mainly, you've got now crushed rock in there. As you know, that's going to become a park. And before that happens, you're going to have to do some renovation of the soil, which I think it is rife with pollutants. Is there any way that you could move forward in abandoning that site and moving new product dump to the east or west where you have larger yards?
That is a challenge on the project, is the assumption that there's real estate elsewhere to go and occupy. And the reality is that there's collapsing staging areas because we're starting to occupy those areas with final construction elements. As you might know of the final design there in the off of Brookville Road, that former office area is being demobilized because there's stormwater management that goes in that area. So we're actually losing staging areas, and that particular staging area that you're referencing will be used really through probably summer of next year. That's about the timeline I would expect to see that start to dissipate.
Okay, I understand that there's a lot that one can't see there, but anything that you could do to speed that up would be really appreciated. Thanks.
Okay, Joel Ryerson, I believe you have some questions as well.
Yes, I did. Thank you for answering these questions. I think I brought this up before. Somebody said about the parking. I wonder if they're going to be like the Metro folks. Metro for this trains. Around the metro stations, they have permanent parking. So maybe they have permanent parking, so they won't park in their neighborhood. And the second question, I don't know the update for that parking lot for the ride-on operations. I think some of that parking lot is going to be moved, and they're going to have the tracks there, a track yard, train yard. And I did go through that area every day because I work up the street. And I take the 2 Lyttonsville or Dietrich bus. I didn't see anything. Nothing was completed. When they're gonna complete that? And I guess I have to put it on hold and then Metro. Now I have Metro benefits now, but I might have to transfer to the Metro Access account. I already got it approved. Everything gone well, so I just have to get the Metro benefits into the my Metro Access account. Right now I'm using my Smart Trip card, so I might have to change it from the Metro Smart Trip card to my Metro Access card. And I did mention this before. I take all the mode of transportation, all that stuff free. If I have a compliment, a person with me, they'll be riding free. But the only thing is, if you go to the subway and he's not behind me, they have to pay for the full fare. But if they aren't behind me, they can ride for free. So that's all my questions. Thank you for taking them.
All right. So to start with the parking, so in the Purple Line, we're not building any parking lots for the Purple Line project, which is being built by Maryland Transit Administration. And yes, we do connect in with the WMATA system, the metro system in the DC area, which we will accept the Smart Trip cards. So whatever you do right now with the WMATA system, we will be able to take the fare that they take right now. But there will be no parking associated with the light rail system that's being built by the Maryland Transit Administration, which is the Purple Line that we are completing.
Are they going to do like the metro folks? Because they have parking permits for the residents. I know College Park has one. When I go down that street in the neighborhood, they have parking permit signs. There's no parking, permit only.
I'll ask Chrissy to jump on if she wants to go into a little bit of details of how the county's working with the neighborhoods on that. But again, no parking associated with the Purple Line for riders of the Purple Line. I know, Chrissy, if you have anything to add to that.
Basically, no. I mean, some neighborhoods have their own designated neighborhood parking where it's permit parking, where it's primarily reserved for the residents. But for the most part, we're not looking at providing any additional parking and all for those stations. So I hope that helps, Joel. It might not, but I do hope it helps.
So how about the parking lot at the right on operations? I know they're gonna take some of that parking away. They're gonna have that train yard.
That parking lot that's there is for MCDOT, and it's a lot of our bus operators and the like that park there so that they can drive the ride-on buses to serve the community. So, but yeah, that parking is pretty much reserved for the depot uses, primarily for those bus drivers.
I heard long time ago they're gonna have some of that parking lot for the Purple Line train yard.
Because the parking lot that's up there now, that was the parking lot that was reconstructed as part of this project. And then the train yard, and Scott, you could help me out here too, is where the new operations and maintenance building is there at Lyttonsville. So there are two aspects there. And the reconstructed county parking lot for our drivers and for those that serve the depot to serve our residents, that is just about in its final configuration. And that's what Scott had mentioned a little bit earlier about repaving. But as I understand it, that's solely for the purpose of ride-on operations for the bus drivers. I hope that helps, because Joel, the where the operation and maintenance facility is where what is it? A lot of the trains will come, and Scott, you can probably help me out there with describing just some of the operations that would go on at the OMF.
Right. So there are 3 track pull-offs. So separate than the main rails that run through the entire alignment at this location. There's 3 pull-off rails where cars and can be staged and parked during non-operating hours. There's a room to add two additional to have a total of 5 pull-off rails, and those rails also have the ability to one of them runs over this, I mentioned, a maintenance pit, so that maintenance personnel that are stationed in the operations and maintenance facility for the Purple Line will keep their tools and equipment in that facility, but be able to work on the undercarriage of trains through this maintenance pit that's being installed, where one of the side tracks there will be able to drive over the top of. So that's what you'll start to see actually really start to come to life over the next couple of months. In that area is a lot of track going down, spread out. It'll look similar to what we have in the Glenmont maintenance facility that you see on a lot of the photos on the websites. Not nearly as significant as that location, but similar.
So all that real estate in there is pretty much being used up, Joel.
But I do have to mention that I can't go back there. I'm not authorized to do it. But I had to go in there one day, and I think I lost my cat card or my Metro Smart Trip card. And I went to see if they had lost and found, and they found it, and I never found it. So I ended up getting a Smart Trip card and added all that money and my old one to my new one. So.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Joel, we're going to move on to some other questions in chat, but if you need anything else, give us a call offline or shoot us an email. All right, Barbara Sanders has a question. It appears that the CCT connection to 16th Street Station is now parallel coming from 3rd Avenue up to 16th Street. It had been a loop design with the stairway to 3rd Avenue at the north end of 16th Street Bridge. How would you bike from that sharp intersection with the sidewalk to go south to the station?
Was that in that question? Oh, here it is. Let me just read these. Is that south to the Woodside station? Is that what that is referring to?
16th Street Station is now parallel coming from 3rd Avenue up to 16th.
Well, there's CCT trail access that is on at Lyttonsville Avenue off of it would be to the west of 16th Street on the north side of all of the track alignments that has bike access to the CCT. So that would be how you would get off of the CCT up to 16th and then ride your bike along 16th Street down to across the 16th Street Bridge around to the Woodside Station. I think that's what the answer is to that question. You could probably follow it around on these landscape photos that have been added. You might be able to see a little bit better what the proposed trail alignment is.
All right, thank you, Scott. And Barbara, if that's not clear, let us know, and we can get those maps and make that a little bit clearer when we follow up with the Q&R too. Yeah, I think it might have to pan out a little bit more there. So we'll get some more details in a graphic for you there, Barbara. All right, from Webb Smedley, is the construction causing a lane closure on southbound 16th Street related to the project, and what is being done there?
This is, yes, depending on where, but just south of the 16th Street Bridge crossing over the CSX and Wilmot Metro Rails and Future Purple Line. We do have a southbound lane closure, long-term lane closure that's in place to construct a connection to the apartments that are in that area. So there's ramp and stair connection to the apartments below 16th Street at that location. So there's walls being constructed there that will have stairs and ramp.
Thank you, Scott. All right, and I see Pat Tyson, you have your hand up again. Please let us know what your question is. I think you're on mute, Pat. Make sure you're off mute.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I was trying to get me off. Thank you. Yes, I have a neighbor that lives down there where the corner is where the park is going to be on, she's at 8902 Talbot Avenue. And I just want to get a name of someone she can talk to. Apparently, she had wanted to have the Purple Line replace her fence that was taken up or something. And she said for at least 7 months to try to reach somebody, and she couldn't. So she decided she had to have the fence repaired. So she went ahead and paid the cost of having it repaired. Now I know sometime back, some years back, when a person had to have some kind of repair made in that area, all they had to do was put in a claim for some reimbursement. But what I told her I could do was ask you who would be the person that she would just talk to about that situation. That's number one. And then number two, she's pleased with the fact that you put up a no parking sign there, so people stop parking on Talbot Avenue right down in that little place, because there was only room for 2 cars, one going and one coming, to pass each other in that area. And people are not parking there anymore like they did before. But on Michigan Avenue, and I think the number of that house might be 2200 Michigan Avenue. Anyway, when it rounds the corner onto Talbot Avenue, the sidewalk stops on Michigan Avenue, and she was wondering if they could get sidewalk to go around the corner in front of their houses on Talbot Avenue to the corner of got this mental block here. The corner where the street comes in, so that you can go either to or from the Talbot Avenue Bridge. So that side of the street was under construction for a while because they had to cut the lawns back and everything. But she's wondering if they could get the sidewalk to continue as it comes around that corner past their homes. Now, who would she talk to about that?
I might chime in if you don't mind, Ray and Carla. The sidewalk on what I'll call I'm looking at it in my head, and I'll say the western side of Talbot Avenue from Michigan. I think it's to Lanier Place or Lanier Street.
Yes.
Yes. There was no intent to put sidewalk in on that area because as it is, our right of way is very limited. However, if she does wish to have it studied and looked at, she can contact our Division of Transportation Engineering, and Pat, I can send you the information. And they have a sidewalk program, and she would have to request it at that point. And a number of her neighbors would also have to agree to that request as well. Otherwise, I think at Michigan, with the Purple Line construction, she should be able to cross and then use that portion of the Capitol Crescent Trail and then walk up to Talbot with that nice big wide trail. So, but I'll send you the information and links to our sidewalk program.
Okay, that would be great. And okay, thank you for that that question.
You're welcome.
I noticed that some of the sticks, that big wide area, nice area that leads down from the bridge on Talbot Avenue behind those sticks. I passed by there the other day. It looked like about 7 of them were missing. I don't know whether somebody ran over them or what, but they're missing. I hope that's
Thanks,
not a
Pat.
sign.
We'll all take a note of that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see another comment from Barbara. We need the access from 3rd Avenue where the staging area is at the Metro Access building at the end of Noyes Lane for wheelchairs, strollers, children, and elderly by ramp as well as stairs. Why would we go under 16th Street on the CCT trail to Bethesda side of 16th when we live on the station side?
I'll jump in and try and answer. Barbara, and I see your other comment in the chat too. So we'll make sure we get something set up where we can walk through how the CCT trail is and the layout and all of that, and make sure we answer all the questions and show how that works, and make sure you and anyone that's interested clearly understands how it's set up and all of that. So let us get something set up, and we'll make sure we have someone from the team walk through that and explain how it's all laid out. I know sometimes looking at engineering plans can mix up things, and we want to make sure it's plain and can be easily understood by the residents who will ultimately be using the CC trail.
Okay, that is all of the questions in chat, and I don't see anybody else with their hand up. We have 3 minutes left, so if anybody has any other questions, now is the time. Okay, well, thank you guys for your time. Again, we thank you. We know it's been very frustrating and continues to be with construction. That is not lost on us. Believe me, we are trying our quickest to get it done. So again, we will be posting this presentation on the Purple Line MD website with answers to all of the questions that we've talked about and have been posted in chat and that were sent previously. So those will be up in the next week or so. As always, reach out to outreach@purplelinemd.com or call us on the hotline. We appreciate your time and patience with us. Have a great week, everybody.